we got our dough here, and as you can see, it's right to the top. So what we want to do, we don't want to use it straight away. We want to actually lift this up and just give it a good turn. And another turn. There we go. Now we let that sit and get it to come back up. Now when you do that at home and you don't have a very good mixer, you may have to do this many times, and also you may have to knead this dough. There's no need for us to knead this dough because this is great dough. As you can see, it's very elastic, yeah, and the gluten is nicely developed. However, we want to leave it for one more round of about 45 minutes, and then we are ready to roll. So I'm going to put that away. That's our ciabatta dough coming up. So here we go. So here now we have our ciabatta dough, and this is just about ready to go. And what we do now, we just put this on the table. Here you go. So that's our ciabatta dough here, and as you can see, it's nice and wobbly. I love that texture. So we're gonna just pull this out a bit. Okay, we go with ciabatta. So what we wanna do, ciabatta, we wanna cut that into sections first, and make sure you always flour in between. So we're just gonna check out what kind of dough weight we're gonna use. I think 600 gram would be good for us, or maybe we take it smaller. So just see what this is. I think 450 grams. Well, we're gonna do 600 grams. So there we go, that's 600 grams. So I got 1, 2, we got 3 600 grams. So when those sit like this, you just square them off a wee bit. For ciabatta, we use cloth. And cloth we need because this dough needs to rest on a cloth because it will get turned later on. And if we don't use cloth, it will stick. And also it needs this cushy this slightly cushy cloth sort of feeling, because there's a lot of feeling in ciabatta. So in order to raise properly. So I'm folding either side over. Show it again. 1, 2, over, yeah? And then we're folding here over, this side and this side, yeah? So folding this over, and I just slowly just tuck this in, yeah? Don't want to have a dog bone, and then we can tap them out a little bit with our hands here, and then we have that. They will be turned again. So this is just the first section. I'll just put them like this, and here we go again. 1, 2, 2, 3, and then we just turn them over like this, tuck them in a little bit. There you go. It's, if you have time, you know, this is a timely thing. You need time for ciabatta because this is going to be sitting here for like an hour, and then we have to do it again. We have to turn them onto a tray and have to let them sit again for another 45 minutes or so. So this whole procedure takes about 3 hours to make ciabatta. And it's very, very important to not rush this, because if you rush it, you won't have a nice ciabatta in the end, because when you come to baking it and to turning it on your tray, it may collapse or whatever. Very temperamental. However, it's still one of the easiest breads to do at home. So I just tie them up a little bit like this. There you go. So first prove it on here, then we turn it onto another tray. The baking tray now, it gets covered again and has to be resting for another, as I said, about 45 minutes. Or the easiest test is when you push this down here, push in the dough, and it comes up to almost 3/4 to the top, your dough is pretty good, yeah? So if you have it too long, it will stick and will collapse. If it's too short, it will be tight. So baking is difficult. But anyway, this is our ciabatta, and it's ready to roll. Now we move on to our stick dough. Okay, here's our French stick dough. French stick, batin. house bread, you know, it's a pane di casa. So Italians call it house bread. You can make all sorts with it. It's one of the most versatile bread, makes bread rolls, makes sticks and anything. We don't want to do really sticks at home because it's very long, the stick, and they're hard to put on trays if you don't have the right trays for it and stuff. And also, I think it's much nicer to have a smaller one because when you eat it, you don't have to cut it and have an open piece. So it's better to have like a shorter, like a flute or a pane di casa, which is like easier to handle. And then we had that in our bread assortment. So I'll show you how to do this very quickly. So just flour slightly over the top, and same thing again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the cutting is all the same. You need to stretch your dough in the right position into the right size. And you can see it goes very simple. Yeah, and here we go. So, just gonna put grams here. I think we do, for this one, we do maybe 300 grams, yeah? So, it's 400. Okay, we'll do 400 grams. There we go. 350, 400. So it doesn't really matter exactly how they look like because they're going to get rounded up anyway. It's just the weight should be right. And 430. It's 10 grams more or less, doesn't really matter. So here's our stick dough. So with sticks, we have a similar procedures as what we had before. You know, you tuck them in from this side. 1, 2. And then you roll them up like this, like so. See that? And then we tuck it in and then we tighten it. And you tighten with your fingers, with your thumbs. You tighten it, you tighten the dough. It's not rolling or anything, it's tightening. That's what we do. And we can actually make a whole baguette out of it if we want to. Yeah? But today we're looking at flutes. Now, normally I should put them on cloth as well and then turn them because underneath here we got the tie, yeah? And it comes up really nicely when you cut them. But today we're lazy, yeah? And I want to have a different look. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to put a little bit of semolina flour on here, which prevents it from sticking. And then we'll just put this one on here. There we go. One. Next one. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Tighten it up, roll it up. And then you go tighten it. And you tighten it from inside out. Boom, 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 boom. And there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here we have our flute type thing. Baguette will be a bit bigger. It's 400 grams. So same thing here once again. And here. This is great bread. It looks like it's flattening out a bit, but no. I'll also show you a few other things. Just make a few rolls, yeah? So we have maybe 100 grams, yeah? 100 gram rolls, 100 grams. So 100 grams, 100 grams. So just put them over here, 100 grams. So you got 100 gram rolls. So we just tie them, tuck them in a bit, yeah? And then here we go. Roll them up. And how we do that, I'll just show you in slow motion. I'm going to press with my thumb and tighten it. So when you see somebody rolling, they don't roll up here, they roll with their thumb. See? And bingo, there we go. Le boule. In France you call this the boule, yeah? Put a little bit of flour, put them over here. There you go, you got the boule. You don't have to be perfect at it, you know? But that's why you might have to. You can make larger breads as well, but I think those small ones and those small flutes, they are more convenient for home baking. This is how they look now. Later on, they look different because we give it a different shape when we start baking them. Yeah? So, but that comes later on. We're just going to put a cloth on this. One cloth. And keep it nice and tucked in. Here you go. Okay, we're back with focaccia, third. First one was our ciabatta. Second one was a French stick, Italian pane di casa, or it's a multiplex house bread. Okay, and you can do anything with it, from large to small. And this here now is the focaccia. The focaccia, you can see, it also came up really nice. We didn't have a sourdough, but it came up great, yeah? Just with yeast, and it virtually tripled in volume. So this is a great flavored bread, and you can make pizzas with it, and we'll make a pizza as well, okay? So in Italian, ciabatta, focaccia, you can flavor it with anything. You can just serve it with herbs, or you can put olives and Parmesan cheese and make flatbreads, yeah? Anything, very versatile, tasty, very Italian, yes? Okay, there you go. Just cut that once again, and then just remember, when you start up, how your dough looks on the table, that's how it will perform when you work with it, yeah? This is important. Just don't just have a mess on the plate. Always nicely and clean and cut it and shape it, yeah? Okay, so these kind of things, I make focacciini, let's say 400 grams, okay? Breads perform better, it's 450. Breads perform better large than small, so you have to be very careful when you make small breads because they burn. Bread is designed to be a kilo. The baking time for breads is 1 hour per 1 kilo. Usually between 230 and 400 degrees, depending on what kind of bread you have, but usually it's from between 230. And when you put the bread in, usually you have a higher temperature and then turn it down so it doesn't burn. But this is very good because the bread performs best in large quantities because the crust to the interior is in the right relationship, yeah? However, when we go smaller, we just have to do things differently. It's all in chemistry, it's all in technique, okay? So, make them flatter, for example, instead of a big one like that, right? So they don't burn outside and stuff like that. So, this is our focaccia. We just roll that up, just tuck it in like that, both sides, and then you roll that up. And you can see it's a really nice elastic dough, lovely, yeah? Came together well, and we put this here, and then we just flour a bit underneath, and then we just can take a small or large rolling pin, and we just roll that into. Focaccia should be, in my opinion, oval, yeah, not round or whatever. It should be oval. So you have it like this. There's so many types of focaccia in Italy. It's amazing, and they flavor it. It's usually as a lunch bread. They put anything on it, from steak to eggs. But I better put some semolina, so we don't have any sticking here. So we got those doughs here. So what you do later on, we put some dimples in it like this, which actually keeps the dough even, yeah, even. And also it catches those little holes, catch the oil because we have to brush it with oil later on. Everything we do is we do with extra virgin olive oil for these kind of breads because the flavor of the oil is a very important part of the bread itself. So just like roll it out like this. Hey, if you don't have this, you can use a wine bottle. If you don't drink wine, use a beer bottle. Yeah, and you can see it's nice. It's how it retracts, It's nice. It's a lovely dough, this. And as I said, it doesn't have a sourdough. It's a straight up dough. Easy to do for you. So 1, 2, put 3 in this tray. And then we look how our other doughs look like, and if we can finish them off. When you bake, I bake different things and not just one thing, mainly because you have a little bit of time in between, and then you can make another dough, and then you can bake everything at one go, and you don't have to have your oven on all that time. You just have a real baking session of about 1 or 2 hours and put all your breads in one by one. So anyway, that's how I do that. There we go. So later on, we're going to dimple that. So I don't really need don't want flour or anything. I just dimple it a little bit, and I put some olive oil on it. We put some olive oil in it in the kitchen later on when it's come up a little bit. And then the olive oil will sit in those little dimples. And then once it has risen again, we will bake it with a bit of rock salt and fresh herbs. There's our ciabatta here. As you can see, it has improved. It has proved, in fact. And now we take them slowly off this tray and we put them on this tray. And you can see I virtually stretch it right onto it. This way you go. We stretch it right onto it. All of this. And that goes in our wood-fired oven at about 400 degrees. A lot of bakers don't bake at these kind of heats because, so your oven at home will be about maximum 250 or 300. So what you want to do, you want to go put it on full bore when you put this in, because this dough is quite wet, will absorb. And so this is almost too many here, but anyway, we fit them on. We fitted them on, yeah? Might have to separate them a bit later on. So now they go into the second proving stage, yeah? Over again. And in the second proving stage. There we go, now that's our French sticks here. It's about a totally different technique. We have, we will cut these, and we cut them, and normally to cut them we turn them, yeah? So I will just give them a turn. Here we go. This is cheating, because normally they should be sitting on cloth. They should be sitting on cloth, and then cut, yeah? They might also be a bit irregular. So what we have here is our rolls. We're just gonna tuck them a bit like this, and I just give them a middle cut. These here, we're gonna give them a cut like so. And you cut from left to right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have to do it from left to right, like this. There we go. So that's our sticks. So I'm gonna put another cloth on top of that. And then they will proof. And even here, that doesn't look too even, the cut. Once it goes in the oven, it will straighten out. That was our 3 doughs. That was our ciabatta, our pane de casa, our house bread, or stick bread, or roll bread, whatever you want to call it, and our focaccia. So these 3 types of doughs would let you do anything. Any European breads you can do with a pane de casa, with our house bread or stick bread. You can do with a ciabatta, you can do any wet doughs. You even can make pizzas with it or whatever. And you can make roll-ups, you can flavor them and roll them up into a twirl and cut them, you know, with tomato sauce. So there's unlimited type of things you can do with these doughs. And the focaccia, of course, is a dough which you should use at home and always make a pizza at the same time, you know. It's a little pizza prep, few onions, few things. I'm gonna make a pizza for us, so when we come back, I'll make a quick pizza and I'll show you how easy it actually is to make a pizza instead of buying it somewhere. You can do that for about $3 or $4 at home. A big one, yeah? We'll show you that now when I come back.